Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope we all had a great week and weekend. Gemma, Kirikou, Gianna Marie, good evening and welcome. Lemon Pie, good evening. Sprinkled Donut, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. Country Walking, good evening and welcome to Trivia Night. All the questions tonight are on the Son of Sam murders. Son of Sam. And he told people to get over here. Well, thank you. As Kirikou is mentioned in a comment there, I'll put it on the screen. Make sure that you're on all messages or live messages, not top chat. So at the top of the actual comment section on the video, at the top, not below the video, but up at the top of the live chat, you can actually toggle between all or top. That top or all or live. Those are your three options. There might be a variation to that depending upon what type of device you're on. It does show different things and different things, but make sure that you are on live chat if that is an option, because that will show the messages as they actually are coming in and not the ones that are, at the top. You studied, Gianna Marie? Good luck. And Reichardt. Good evening, Reichardt. Sal. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. This is my new friend and they follow me here. Well, that's nice, Gemma. Tonight, I will be drinking Squeezed to Death. Squeezed to Death. Liquid Death. They should sponsor me. They really should. They should reach out and sponsor me. If you know somebody with Liquid Death, tell them to get a hold of me. I've already gave them my soul. It's a joke. They have a thing on their website where you can actually sign a contract and give your soul to Liquid Death. All right, see here. Even put your channel in your chat. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Gemma. Well, thank you, Gemma, for promoting the channel and putting it on your channel. You heard? All right, let's get tonight's trivia going, ladies and gentlemen. The Son of Sam. This is the 372nd episode of True Crime Trivia. If you love trivia and you are into true crime, this is the 372nd episode. So there are 371 episodes on my channel. You should subscribe so you can actually be notified of the next one. Warning, Trivia Night is strictly adheres to factual evidence and verified data from the FBI, Department of Justice, and Scotland Yard whenever needed, along with court records and transcripts from trials. It does not include conspiracy theory, speculation, or unverified claims about what may have happened. If you are seeking sensationalism or content related to similar theories or lies spread by those who can't be bothered to do the research on the topic, this event and topic may not be the right fit for you. This program actually documents crimes by criminals. Some of the content covered here may not be suitable for all audiences. Video footage tonight that we will use in tonight's trivia comes from the Smithsonian Institution, WABC New York Archives Channel 7, and WNBC Bronx, New York Archives Channel 4. Again, viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you don't want to hear or read about crimes by criminals, you obviously have stumbled into the wrong live stream. While we have a moment before we get started, if you're not a subscriber, if you think that you may or may not be, scroll down on your screen and look at where the subscribe box is below the actual video. If it is in white, that means you are not subscribed. Go ahead and click it. It will turn black or dark charcoal gray color, depending upon, again, the device you're using. Richard Berkowitz, born Richard David Falco, June 1st, 1953, is also known as the Son of Sam and the 44 caliber killer. Is an American serial killer, former U.S. Army soldier who committed a stabbing in a series of shootings between 1975 and 1977. Excuse me, in New York City, killing 6 people and wounding 11 others. Armed with the 44 special caliber Bulldog revolver during most of his crimes, he terrorized New York with many letters mocking the police and promising further crimes, leading to the biggest manhunt in history.
"40 years ago, New York City was both on edge and in decay. An economic decline, coupled with rising crime rates, had also made it a city of fear. It was during that time, from 1976 to 1977, that the serial killer, known as Son of Sam, terrorized New York City, killing 6 people and critically wounding 7 others. On July 29, 1976, David Berkowitz, a postal worker from Yonkers, began a murder spree that left law enforcement baffled and the public afraid to even leave their homes. 40 years after his arrest, the latest installment of Smithsonian Channel's immersive and critically acclaimed series, The Lost Tapes, sets the scene for what would become a national media frenzy in search of an elusive murderer. Here's a look.
He has struck 6 times in the Bronx and Queens in the past 9 months.
Nobody, not even police, knew anything about him, and that fear of the unknown forced people off the streets.
At 3 a.m., 3 shots tore through the side window of the car. Valentina died, a bullet wound in the head. He has killed 4 women and a man, all of whom had long brown hair.
They're afraid. You never know when you turn around who's going to be there.
Like my sister will not come out of the house now.
It's just too dangerous. You can't take the chance.
I am the Son of Sam, the note declared. I am not a woman hater.
He starts to thrive on the publicity and the attention he's getting. The killing becomes one of kind of recognition.
We are increasing the manpower in all areas of the city.
The largest task force in police history went into high gear as the city went into high fear.
You have to be careful. You have to watch where you go now.
But right now, there's really nothing to go on. Nothing.
An animal like this has to be caught.
Question number 1 is now on your screen. What U.S. military branch of service did David Berkowitz serve in before his crime spree? Was it A, the Sports Face, because it's real, B, the U.S. Army, C, U.S. Navy, or D, Coast Guard? What branch of military service did David Berkowitz serve in before his crime spree? Is question number 1. And good evening, left-handed RN. Welcome to tonight's trivia, as well as Callie Lisa. Good evening to you both, and welcome to tonight's trivia. What military service did David Berkowitz serve in? Kathleen Craghead. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia, Kathleen. I hope you had a great weekend. Glad you could join us tonight. Rycar is going with E, the Boy Scouts, along with BTK. Question number 1. The correct answer is B as in boy. He served in the United States Army. Question number 2. Where was David Berkowitz stationed while in the U.S. Army, where several suspicious fires were set? Was it A, Austin, Texas, B, New Jersey, C, Korea, or D, Finland? Question number 2 of 20. Where was David Berkowitz stationed while in the U.S. Army, where several suspicious fires were set? Catalisa, Lieutenant RN, and Sprinkle Donut are all going with A. Lemon Pie is going with C. Kitty Q A. Gemma B. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Or not. There you go. My Zippo didn't want to white. I'm guessing B or C to have a hunting, killing type of mind. I can kind of say Army, to be honest, so go with B because as not seen the backstory. Lemon Pie is also going to go with Pee-wee's Playhouse. He was stationed at Pee-wee's Playhouse. Good evening, Why Wonder, and welcome to tonight's trivia. All the questions tonight, Why Wonder, are on the Son of Sam murders. The answer to question number 2 is C, as in cat. When David Berkowitz was stationed in the U.S. Army in Korea, there were a total of 13 suspicious fires that were set in and around the Army base while he was stationed there. When questioned by the FBI later on, while he's still in prison, but questioned by the FBI, David would not answer about his arson before he started killing when he was a teenager, and he wouldn't answer questions about his actual crimes either, and the motives behind the actual shootings and the one stabbing. He wouldn't also, when they asked him about the fires that were set in Korea, he would not answer the question, but other than to say, there wasn't anything really damaged. Now, was there? Again, it was around 13 suspicious fires that were set in and around the military base in Korea while he was stationed there. Once an arsonist, always an arsonist. Question number 3. What type of weapon did David Berkowitz use in the Son of Sam shootings? Was it A, a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, B, a .223 bolt action rifle, C, a 44 caliber pistol, or D, a 3D printed 45 caliber semi-automatic? What type of weapon did David Berkowitz use? Question number 3 of 20. What type of weapon did he use? We got Kitty C, Gemma C, Sal, Kathleen, and the Finn. Good evening, the Finn. Wow, Wonder is going with A, and so is Lemon Pie. Sprinkled Donut is going with C, and so is Country Walking, along with Bonnie. Good evening, Bonnie, if I didn't say hello earlier. Sorry if I missed you. What type of weapon? Question number 3 of 20. The correct answer to question number 3 is C as in cat, a 44 caliber pistol, a bulldog pistol, a 44 caliber pistol. Remember the opening, ladies and gentlemen. David Berkowitz was also known as the 44 caliber killer, along with being known as the son of Sam. Question number 4. David Berkowitz's neighbor, Sam Carr, had several issues with David over time. What was the first issue he had with him? Was it A, police reports about his dog barking? B, dumping trash in his yard? C, David exposing himself? Or D, David screaming at his dog for barking? Question number 4 of 20. David Berkowitz's neighbor, Sam Carr, had several issues with David over time. What was the first issue he had with him? Good evening, Lita. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Lita. Glad you could be here with us. Kid's going with D? Question mark? I don't know. It could be D. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out, I guess. The Finn, D. Sal, D. Lieutenant RN. Gianna Marine D seems to be a popular one for this one. Stealing his Wi-Fi. Good one, Lemon Pie. Well, that's really David Berkowitz was stealing my Wi-Fi. Question number 4. The correct answer is D as in dog. David Berkowitz would come out of his apartment, and Sam Carr lived next door in a home. And he came out and would scream at his dog over and over again, saying that the dog was incessantly barking when the dog was not barking at all. This is the dog that David Berkowitz would eventually say was a demon and had, told him to kill people. This is the demon dog that lived next door that David would come out and start screaming at. It was Sam Carr's dog. Black Lab, in case you're wondering what kind of dog he was. A black lab. Question number 5. Victimology. Why did David Berkowitz target women with long brown hair? This is from his confession in prison. Was it A, looked like his ex-girlfriend? B, looked like his mother, biological mother? C, David said they were whores? Or D, the devil told him they were angels? Question number 5 of 20. Victimology. Why did David Berkowitz target women with long brown hair? This comes from his confession behind bars. I'd say D at guessing the Angel's issues. Watching Pee-wee's Playhouse, and C, of course. Question number 5 of 20. The correct answer to question number 5 is B as in boy. When the detective pointed out to him, who was sitting next to the FBI agent who came to speak with David at the penitentiary, and I believe he was first at Rikers, and when he was talking with him, the detective pointed out that each and every one of the women that David had shot looked like his biological mother, and asked him, do you think that there is a connection between you targeting these women and because they are a surrogate for your biological mother? David looked down at the table, then looked up and said, maybe I did shoot them because they looked like my mother. Excuse me. Question number 6. Yonkers arrest. What was David Berkowitz doing when he was arrested for murder? Was it A, sitting in his car watching police? B, reading the newspaper? C, showering like Reichardt is doing right now? Or D, eating a grilled cheese sandwich? He thought they drove a Yugo. Thought they were Snooky. Eek. I guess the ex-girlfriend, but to do something as horrible as, I'd say, mental health, schizophrenia, etc. So answer C. Yeah. Kid is going with A. Reichardt. I'm in line for the shower at the truck stop. There are 5 ahead of me. I can participate. All right. Well, I'm sorry you're number 5 in line. I guess it's better than being number 15. Y'all haven't, if you've never had the chance to take a shower at one of, I'm just going to give you my example. It was a Love's truck stop. Those are some damn nice showers and changing areas. They're clean, very nice. I don't know what station, truck stop Reichardt's at, but I'm sure it's a nice one. All right, C, of course, he is I. Question number 6. The correct answer is A as in apple. He was sitting in his car getting ready to leave, but he was watching the police from across the street as they approached the building that he was parked in front of, his apartment complex building. And they walked over, and they already knew the car, because how did they narrow it down and to David in the first place? A parking ticket that he had gotten for blocking a fire hydrant. That was the first clue of someone who people saw someone acting strange. He got into this car, and then they realized that there was a parking ticket that was issued to that car, and that is what led to the fall of David Berkowitz and the police zeroing in on him. A Flying J are the best. Better than 144,000. That's a good one, Kitty Q. But yeah, he was sitting in his car watching the police when they came to arrest him for murder. Question number 7. Suspects. How many suspects were brought into the police station and questioned about the Son of Sam killings in 1977 alone? Not 76, not 78, not any other period of time, just 1977. Was it 1, A, B, 8, C, 34, or D, 84? And I want to correct myself before someone fires off an email later on. David Berkowitz was not at Rikers Island when they questioned him. I just looked at my notes. He was at Attica prison, not Rikers. He was at Attica. So yes, I did misspeak there. He was at Attica, not at Rikers, when the FBI agent and the detective were speaking to him. E. William Shatner. Question number 7. How many people were brought in and questioned in 1977 for about the Son of Sam murders? The correct answer is B as in boy, 8. 8 men who they believed could have possibly been the Son of Sam were brought in and questioned in 1977 about the shootings and killings of the Son of Sam. 8. All 8 were considered to be viable suspects, and according to the New York Police Department, the Yonkers, area in particular, Yonkers and Brooklyn. Question number 8. Doing time for the crimes. How many times has David Berkowitz been moved to a new prison since he was sentenced? Was it A, 3 times, B, 2 times, C, 1 time, or D, 5 times? Question number 8 of 20. How many times has David Berkowitz been moved to a new prison since sentencing? Why wonder? We're about to answer that question. I'm going to put it in the comment section. So look for my comment on the answer to your question. If you look in the comments section, why I wonder, that is the name of the prison, and you pronounce it yourself on however you believe that is pronounced. But that is where David Berkowitz is currently at. E got Pauly Shore as a cellmate. Pinzer. Hello and welcome to tonight's trivia, Pinzer. I hope you had a great weekend. Question number 8. The correct answer is A as in apple. He has been moved 3 times. First, starting out at Attica, then moved to Sullivan, and now to Shaw-Unk. Shaw-Unk. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm not going to try again, but that's your third option. I put it in the comment section. You figure out how to pronounce that. Shaw-Ang, Gunk, whatever. But that's where he is at now. Question number 9. What official title nickname has been given to David Berkowitz since he was convicted? Is it A, the Son of Anarchy, B, Minister of Evil, C, Son of Hope, or D, Minister of Damnation? Well, I'm glad to meet Pinzer. Listening while I work. Love true crime. Who doesn't? That's true. I find it extraordinarily. I thought Shaw Wank Unk. That is Sire Sharinka Linka. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's SHAWANGUNK is the name of the prison. What official title, nickname, has been given to David Berkowitz since he was convicted? Sal B? I don't know. Lemon Pie, son of dad. he's a son of something. Son of a beep. Question number 9. The correct answer is C as in cat. The Son of Hope. On a weekly basis, David Berkowitz ministers 200 individuals at the prison where he is at now as a minister. 200 inmates show up every week to listen to him preach and read the Bible to them. On top of that, there is no real official accounting, but David gets between 200 to 300 letters from other inmates and former inmates, and people who are just having a rough time in life, and he ministers them through the U.S. mail. Another 200 to 300 every single week, month. 200 go to see him in person and listen to him preach and to read the Bible. On top of that, 200 to 300 more per month write him letters of if they're having a spiritual crisis. Former inmates, current inmates at other institutions, and other people who haven't committed crimes as well. Question number 10. Rain, snow, hail. The mail must be delivered. What job did David Berkowitz have at the USPS, the United States Postal Service? Was it A, a mail carrier, B, a package delivery specialist, C, a truck driver, or D, a letter sorter? Yes, Reichart, he is a minister, an ordained minister. He actually did not like something out of the back of Rolling Stone magazine. He actually attended a certified college course and became an ordained minister since he has been behind bars. Question number 10 of 20. Rain, snow, hail, the mail must be delivered. What job did David Berkowitz have at the USPS? Wow, Wanda, Bonnie, Karen. Good evening, Karen Cadle. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Are all going with D along with Ivory Lady? Lemon Pie says he was all stamp liquor. Yeah, I don't think they had the sticker stamps back then in 77. So somebody had to lick them. I used to have a roller that had a sponge on it. Tear off the stamp, bloop, and then put it on the little sponge. All right, question number 10. The correct answer is D as in dog. He was a letter sorter. His actual 9 to 5 job, that mainly what he did besides sort letters, was try to determine, and he worked in not the dead letter department, but letters that were they didn't have either a complete mailing address on them, or the writing was so bad they could, maybe it got wet or something along that line. It was smudged and it couldn't be read. That his job was to make sure that, okay, this letter, it says it's going to Sarah, or or Aunt Gilbert or whatever, and it has a partial address. So he would look up in the system, where is that address if it was missing, like the zip code, and the city name. That was his job. It was mainly. Other than that, he helped feed the letters and stuff like that through the machine that actually sorted the actual mail. That's what David Berkowitz did every day he went to work. Now you know why he's insane. No, that's not why he's insane. He was insane before that. But anyways, question number 10. Long before David started killing at random as a teenager, he was a prolific arsonist. David stated he only set 10 to 15 fires. The Yonkers and Brooklyn police say he set 30 or maybe 40 fires total. Okay, I'm going to answer, before we move on, I'm going to answer the question about, was the mailbag on the Seinfeld a fiction, a lie, or did David Berkowitz actually have a mailbag? According to the United States Post Office, all of the following items are given to a new employee as part of their uniform. And even if they're not a mail carrier, they get all of these things, and then they can say, well, I don't need this because I'm not a letter carrier. I'm a truck driver. I don't need, this item. Okay. But these are the basic things for 1976, 1977 that every single mail carrier got. They got slacks, 2 dress shirts, postal shirts, 1 short sleeve, 1 long sleeve, a mail carrier official jacket with the embroidery of the United States Post Office on it, a hat, a regular hat, and then they got a winter stocking hat that would be like a regular, like for cold weather. And they also got 1 pair of shoes and 4 pairs of socks, tan socks. That was part of the postal, what they gave each and every employee. Now, they could buy additional things if they wanted to, and it could have them either pay for them in cash, or they could have them subtracted from their actual paycheck if they were getting them for their work. It's like, oh, you know what? I need some more slacks. I need shorts, or I need, something else. They could have those items deducted from their paycheck. So they basically, instead of having to hand over cash right then and there, they got the item and they did a deduction from payroll. Now, did David Berkowitz actually have a mail bag? Nobody knows for sure. It may have just been a joke that was on Seinfeld that Newman, pulled, as part of a gag and the whole entire thing. So that's the answer to it. I wish I could, give you a definitive, it was his mail bag or he had a mail bag or any of that. But so that's the answer to it. Okay. All right. The FBI files a collection of noteworthy details and insights drawn from FBI case files on serial killers and spree killers. Whenever possible, I will post musings about tonight's subject matter. Otherwise, these are general musings. Enjoy. During the murder shooting spree from 1976 to 1977, many women cut their hair and colored it blonde in hopes the son of Sam wouldn't target them. David, in an interview from behind bars with the FBI in 1984, he said that he got a sexual satisfaction from shooting these random women. Over 200 women have proposed marriage to David since he was arrested and sentenced. These all can be found underneath the Freedom of Information Act if you file a FOIA request and ask for copies of the information that is in the Berkowitz file. Please make sure you have plenty of money on your debit card or credit card line, because there are a lot of files in the David Berkowitz file. A total of 13,000 plus files are in there, and they will not give you a free copy of 13,000 PDFs or printouts. They do charge you if they print out them, or you can file a FOIA request for the PDFs to a point. They're not going to give you all 13,000 pages though. That's my point. But all this can be found in the Berkowitz file with the FBI. All right, that is our first 10 questions. As we do every single week, after the first 10 questions, I now am going to highlight 2 cases of people from around the United States that are missing and considered endangered. These are maybe cold cases, but each and every one of these families need closure. I am working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Charlie Project, the FBI, NamUs, along with state and local and federal authorities to help shine a spotlight on these missing cases. In the United States, over 600,000 people are reported missing each and every year. A vast majority of these individuals are found within a short period of time after they are reported missing, within 90 days. Just because you will see that some of these cases are old doesn't mean that we should give up hope on them. J.C. Dugard was missing for 18 years before she was eventually found alive and safe. So hope is real. Of the 600,000 cases of people that are reported missing each and every year, 29% of those, that's what the cases that I am highlighting, those are who are missing and endangered. As an example, is missing next to us, that is an actual poster for the missing woman. Her name is April Dawn Andrews. She has been missing, and very well, maybe alive and well today. She left her family because she believed that she was a burden on her family because they were extremely poor. But that is a age enhanced photo of what she could look like today. And the last possible strong sighting was that she was living and working in and around the Arkansas, Oklahoma area of the United States. If you know where any information about April Dawn Andrews, you can call the number that is on your screen, 479-451-8220. And if you know anything, you can remain anonymous at that number if you call it and leave information. Now, on to our first missing person case for tonight. Oh, sorry, quickly. When it comes to missing persons reporting, only 3 states in the continuous United States, New Mexico, Arizona, and Washington, track data for distinguish between missing females and males who are Native American or undocumented individuals. Based on the most recent estimates from 2023, that is 419,588 Native American and non-citizen, non-documented citizens have been reported missing between 1994 and 2023. Again, only New Mexico, Arizona, and the state of Washington state, not DC, actually count and keep track of people who are Native American and undocumented individuals who were reported missing. You can now take a break for the next 7 minutes while I cover these missing and endangered people. You do whatever you want for the next 7 minutes. Listen, watch along, go smoke a bowl of hashish. I don't care. You do what you do. Shotgun a beer, drink a 5th of whiskey. As long as you don't harm anybody else, I'm okay with it. Do whatever you're going to do. Our first case tonight is John Howard Andrews, 47 years of age when he vanished. He would now be 63 years of age as of 2025. He is Caucasian. He disappeared on 12/1 of 2005. He vanished from Rockaway Beach, Oregon. John Howard Andrews is 5'7", 105 to 115 pounds, with brown eyes and brown hair. He has no known tattoos at the time of his disappearance, and he has an unspecified medical condition that he needs to take medication for. But because of HIPAA, in the file itself, it does not disclose what that medical condition is. It only says that he needs medication for a pre-existing condition, and he must take it. Andrews was last seen at his residency at the 1900 block of North Miller Street in Rockaway Beach, Oregon, at approximately 2 p.m. on December 1st, 2005. He left an uncashed paycheck on the dining room table, several $100s in cash in his bedroom, his grandfather's wristwatch, and other personal items. Foul play has been rumored in John Howard Andrews' disappearance, but not confirmed. Sightings and tips that have come in put him with two men driving a late model Chevy Suburban that is black and red. The top of the Suburban is black. The bottom portion is black, and it had a wide, stripe down the middle, all the way around the vehicle. That was a solid red color. It was a common option for the older Suburbans to get them in a two-tone color like that. If you know it, sorry, I didn't mean to go. Tip line. If you know anything about where John Andrews is or what may have happened to him, you can call 503-355-2252. That is the Rockaway Beach Police Department. You cannot remain anonymous by calling and leaving a tip with the Rockaway Beach Police Department. If you need to and you want to remain anonymous, you can reach out to the Oregon State Patrol or call your local authorities and give them a tip. Again, you cannot remain anonymous at that number. Next is Carolyn M. Allen, 50 years old as of 2024. Her birthday has not come upon us yet. She is an African-American female. She vanished either 1/1 of 2016 or 10/15 of 17. She vanished from Charlotte, North Carolina. She is 5'4", 140 to 145 pounds, with brown hair, brown eyes, black hair. She has no known tattoos or scars, but both of her ears have multiple piercings. Both ears have multiple piercings. She has no known medical condition. Allen was last seen in the 5,000 block of Regan Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina, sometime in January 2016 or in late 2017. She has never been heard from again. The reason for different dates of missing is due to two different missing persons reports being filed. Regardless of which date is correct, she was missing for almost a year before the first report was filed. No tips or leads have come in since. With the case for Allen, you can call 704-336-4978. You can remain anonymous at that number for the local police department, or you can leave an anonymous tip at the Charlotte, North Carolina government page that is in blue there at the bottom. You can remain anonymous if you know anything about what happened to her again. But again, the missing persons reports weren't filed for almost a year afterwards. Carolyn M. Allen. Everyone's life means something to someone else besides themselves. Her family and friend want closure and need closure of what happened. Where is Carolyn Allen? Break time is not over with yet. You still have 1 minute and 40 seconds left of your break. 1 minute and 35 seconds left of your break. That is a very big time line discrepancy, Kitty Q. 2 different family members filed the missing persons report for Carolyn Allen. And it was almost a year. I cannot confirm the following, though. One family member who did file the missing persons report for her said that Carolyn Allen was a recluse. She liked to keep to herself. She was very private. She was not working at the time. She did not have any medical conditions that that she needed medication for or to see a doctor on a regular basis. But she liked to keep to herself. And when time went on, people were just like, hey, when was the last time you saw her? Oh, I don't know. It's been a while. You have 10, 9, 8, 10 seconds left. Sorry, only a whole whooping minute, Rackard. And we're back. Without further delay, let's get back to trivia. Question number 11 is now on your screen. What infamous law was created to prevent criminals from profiting from their crimes? Was it A, the Son of Sam laws, B, the Necrobaby laws, C, the Ada laws, or D, the Brady laws? Question number 11 of 20. What infamous law was created to prevent criminals from profiting from their crimes? I watched the yogurt murders, never heard of it. So no one is paying for the 4 murders? No, Tom Baker. They have not convicted anyone in the yogurt shop murders. Incompetency, and the crime scene was tainted and contaminated before they ever finished the investigation. The year before reported, that's horrible. Yeah, it is horrible. There are a lot of cases out there like that, and some that are even worse. There are cases like one that I've covered before about a mother who vanished with 2 of her children, her 2 young sons from Hawaii. That they got on a sailboat and they planned on sailing around with friends, from island to island, and then maybe making it down the coastline of the United States and then into Mexico. Nobody knows what happened to them. The boat turned up in Florida eventually, but mom and the 2 kids were nowhere around. Robert Downey Jr. laws. Question number 11 of 20. What infamous law was created to prevent criminals from profiting from their crimes? The correct answer is A as in apple. They are called the Son of Sam laws. There is no one law out there that is called the Son of Sam Law. It's actually a title that is given to a series of different laws. This state may have one. This state may have two. This state might have like three. This one might only have, somewhere in between 3 and 1. Maybe they got 2. Maybe they have 1.5 laws. But they're called the Son of Sam laws. How are they connected to the Son of Sam? It was hysteria. But don't worry, because as the states, as individual states and governors, legislators, senators have decided that they could, profit, and you could fix, your shortcomings in your budget by, letting these stories and things get out from criminals, that they could profit by holding, taking these things in. They start letting them out and saying, pay us to, have an interview with them. Pay us to, to read his writings. Pay us to see his art. Pay us to do this. And a lot of these laws have had, the enforcement and everything removed from them. They're still on the books, but again, they're called as a collection, the Son of Sam laws. There is no one law that is the Son of Sam law. The first ones were passed after David Berkowitz committed his crimes, but that is it. It was more for hysteria reasons than anything else. Okay, moving on. Question number 12. Not all attacks and shootings were of couples. The first shooting and possibly the 7th were of friends doing what? Was it A, smoking weed on a park bench? B, leaving a local disco? C, drinking beer at a park at night? Or D, sitting in a car talking? Question number 12 of 20. Not all attacks and shootings were of couples. The first shooting and possibly the 7th were of friends doing what? Tom, there's quite a few killers out there that have YouTube channels. And in the state of Georgia, I hate to pick on them, because if you're in the state of Georgia, your justice system, particularly your prisons and jails, are a mess. So let me just start with that. But in Georgia, they have had such a bad time trying to get rid of cell phones in prisons and in jails. So many of them have been found in certain jails, in the state of Georgia. I read a report of one particular county jail that had seized over 600 cell phones that inmates had behind bars. And they are doing TikToks, they're doing food challenges, cook-offs, they're doing YouTube videos, they're doing all kinds of different content from behind bars. And on top of that, they've caught people who are running scams from behind bars. Like recently, they found a bunch of individuals that were targeting sexual predators and telling them that if they didn't cough up money, that they were coming to arrest them. And some of these people gave up money and sent money via Cash App, or Western Union or PayPal, or they wire transferred it to a bank account, because they're sex offenders, and obviously they're not all that smart. Question number 12. The correct answer to question number 12 is D as in dog. D as in dog. Friends, all of the other attacks were of romantic couples, individuals who were out on their first date or out on a date, and Berkowitz pulled up on them in Lover's Lane and shot them. but the first attack and the seventh attack were of friends just sitting in a car talking. But I had to put in there and the question though, and I had to word it that way that possibly the word possibly is in there because the first attack that he was never charged with, that first attack is what I'm talking about. We know the very first killing was of a couple, but there was a shooting that took place in a car that predates the first murder in a car, and they were both women, but it's kind of up in the air on if they were a couple or if they were just friends. That's why the word possibly is in there. Question number 13. Who was shot and killed in the last shooting by David Berkowitz? Was it A, Jan Brady and Marsha Brady, B, Stacy Moskowitz, C, Tipper Gore, or D, Sally Jesse Raphael? Sal says the jails in Tennessee are overcrowded. Too many prisoners. Wow. Question number 13. Oh, we got B. Calisa. B. Duh. Why, I wonder. B as well. Question number 13 of 20. The correct answer to question number 13 is B as in boy. Stacy Moskowitz was the last person shot and killed by David Berkowitz. Reichart says D, of course. He got annoyed by her red glasses. Says Sally Jesse Raphael. You don't remember her? She was a talk show host back in the day, along with Ricky Lake, Geraldo Rivera, Phil Donahue. These were daytime talk shows. Jack Ruby. She was also the only blonde he killed. That's true. Question number 14. Before David Berkowitz demanded to be known as Son of Sam, what did the media call him? Was it A, the 44 caliber killer, B, the Night Stalker, C, the Brooklyn Strangler, or D, the Doomsday Devil? Question number 14 of 20. Before David Berkowitz demanded to be known as the Son of Sam, what did the media call him? We got A, Lita, Kitiku, Lieutenant Orange, Gianna Marie, Kathleen, and Lemon Pie are all going with A. Lexi is going with B. And Lexi, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. If I didn't say hello earlier, I forgot. Lemon Pie is going with E. My name is Jeff. The Finn is going with A as well. Rackart, still in line, is going with A. Ooh, Ivory Lady and Why I Wonder are going with A as well. Tom Barker demanded. Yes, I'll tell you in just a minute. Tom Barker demanded. All right. The correct answer is A, as in apple. He was called the 44 caliber killer. In one of his letters that he wrote to the police and the media, he said if they didn't start referring to him as the son of Sam, he was going to kill even more. And he also, in that same letter, said and was pissed off that the media called him a woman hater. But he demanded to be called the son of Sam, otherwise, he was going to kill more. And that he was a woman hater. And he said he was not a woman hater. Question number 15. How many trials did it take to finally get a conviction of David Berkowitz on all charges of murder? Was it A, 6, B, 9, C, 0, or D, 5? How many, question number 15 of 20, how many trials did it take to finally get a conviction of David Berkowitz on all charges of murder? One frustrated killer demands things, right? The son of. We got Kitty Q, Left Hand RN, Lemon Pie, Kelly's, and Left Hand, and Gianna Marie, Lita, and Bonnie, all going with C or 0. Kathleen is going with C as well. Sprinkle Donut is going with C. Question number 15 of 20. I wonder is C. C as well. The correct answer to question number 15 is, in fact, C. 0. David Berkowitz never actually went through a complete trial. He pled guilty to every single criminal count that was before him. He didn't even want to fight. His attorney, his court-appointed attorney, wanted to fight for him to get a better sentence. David said, no, I don't want that at all. You are not to do anything other than to get me the papers that I need to sign to plead guilty to every charge that they have forth in front of me. So he never even went through a trial. Question number 16. Berkowitz told the prison system in writing what to stop any chances of a parole hearing. Was it A, he needs to kill more? B, he never wants to be released? C, he dreams of all his past murders? Or D, he wants to move in with Pauly Shore? Question number 16. Berkowitz told the prison system in writing what to stop any chances of a parole hearing. Why was he found guilty of second-degree murder instead of first? It's what they charged him with. Left-handed RN. I can't understand all the charges myself, and I would question why they didn't charge him with a bunch more crimes on top of that. There's at least, the day that he was arrested, he had a rifle in the back of his car that was fully loaded, and he had 2 extra clips with that rifle. That rifle was not bought through legal channels and was missing its serial number. They never charged him with that crime. Why? On top of that, why didn't they charge him with stalking, harassment of his neighbors? They didn't charge him with those crimes either. I don't know. They give you the answer why they charged him You know, why didn't they charge him with premeditated first-degree murder on all 7 counts? I don't know. Don't have the answer to that. Well, or a legislator, someone of importance within the community, like the head of the transit authority, would also get you a first-degree murder charge. It's not just police and firemen, but you are on the right trail, Kitty Q. A lot of those, that's what the laws were in 1976 and 77, not so much today. It's New York laws. Question number 16. The correct answer to question number 16 is B as in boy.
We have no known motive at this time. However, we're not overruling any possibility.
How about leads?
We have several leads that we're working on, and some of them have been expired. We have ruled them out.
Have you been able to determine whether or not there was one or more assailants?
We felt up until this time there's possibly one, but we recovered a different caliber shell hole in the vehicle that wasn't there before.
What kind of youngsters were these?
The boy was an Eagle Scout. The girl that was on her first date, and there's no record of any misbehavior on either one of them.
Why did this happen?
It was a senseless murder, I believe.
Question number 17. What was the first thing David said to police when they came to arrest him for these attacks and murders? Was it A, you have the wrong man? B, you think you're smart? C, you need to talk to Harvey? Or D, you got me? Question number 17 of 20. What was the first thing David said to police when they came to arrest him for these attacks and murders? Question number 17 of 20. Is institutionalized. Does better being locked up, can't handle life out on the outside. That's true, Finn. That is absolutely true. E, I like turtles. Turtles are cute. I've never had turtles. I've had poisonous dart frogs. I've had poisonous dart frogs. I've never had turtles. Closest I've ever, and I'm not the same animal, but I mean that's the closest aquatic animal only aquatic animal I've ever had, besides goldfish. We got D, and Finn is going with B. Question number 17 of 20. And apparently Lemon Pie likes turtles. We learned something new about Lemon Pie. I had 2 turtles when I was young, Lucy and Ricky. Ricky and Lucy? Ricardo? You had the Ricardo turtles? Lucy. Chocolate turtles. Ooh, the chocolate the candies. Oh, those are good. Isn't that what one of the specialties that Oh my gosh. The Candyman. Coral. Dean Coral. Isn't that one of the specialties that him and his mom made that they used to sell? Wasn't it like the little chocolate, covered, nougat, with almonds or something like that? I think that was one of the candies that they made. Their specialties. Question number 17. The correct answer is D, as in dog. You got me. They opened up his car door, and the first thing he said to the police when they opened his car door to arrest him is, "You got me." Question number 18. When they searched David Berkowitz's apartment, how many handguns and rifles did they find? Was it A, 2, B, 4, C, 0, or D, 8? Question number 18 of 20. When they searched David Berkowitz's apartment, how many handguns and rifles did they find? Anyone remember the meme? The meme of turtles? No. Tom Baker says, right here, we have the best chocolates in the world. Kitty Q is going with A, question mark? I don't know. Kalisa, Gianna Marie, Lita are going with B. Sal's going with D. Lemon Pie, C. Kathleen is going with B. How many handguns and rifles were found in David Berkowitz's apartment? Question number 18 of 20. The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is C, as in cat. There were no additional firearms that were found inside of the apartment. In the car, sitting on the passenger seat when they arrested David Berkowitz, was in fact the 44 caliber Bulldog pistol that he had used to kill commit all of the murders. It was in a brown paper bag sitting on the front seat of the car. In the back seat was the rifle, along with 2 additional clips for the rifle. In the apartment, all they found was empty ammunition boxes for the gun and for the rifle. They found other things that that were interest that they ended up taking, but in the end, it didn't really matter because David pled guilty to everything. So, but no additional rifles or handguns were found in the apartment. Question number 19. After his arrest, David told police he was part of a large satanic cult called the Process Church. Was there any real connection, truth? A, he made it all up. B, he attended meetings only. C, a Korean-based group not in the United States. Or D, Process Group is Pauly Shore's new movie coming out in fall of 2025. Question number 19 of 20. After his arrest, David told police he was part of a large satanic cult called the Process Church. Was there any real connection or truth? Okay, that's what I was thinking about the 44 and the rifle. They were in the car. Yep. Rifle was on the back seat, and the pistol was on the front passenger side of the car. Bench. It was a bench seat. I believe his car was a Bonneville, but I'm not 100% sure. I was trying to look it up, but I never got around to finding the actual answer. But I believe it was a Bonneville. It had a bench seat in front and back. 4-door. Make. He was a high. He was the high priest. It was a swingers club. Lieutenant RN, Finn, Karen, Sal, everybody thinking. 1974 Galaxy. Was it a Galaxy? Could have been. I've got a picture in my head of the car, and the crime scene where after they'd taken it from in front of the apartment, they took it back and they were processing the car and photographing the inside of it. I have a picture of that in my mind, Kitty Q, but when it comes to 1970s land yachts, I'm not exactly, the most up to date on what was I can tell you what a 1980s version, of a Galaxy or an LTD or, a Buick versus a Pontiac, just by looking at them, I could probably tell you the make or something like that close, but not the 1970s. Even a satanic cult could refuse him. There's got to be a point when these guys are tired of running and they just okay, I did it and I don't even try to hide anything, hide anything or hide anymore. You would think, but look at Dennis Rader. Dennis Rader took off from killing for over 10 years and before he went back to doing it. Question number 19. The correct answer is A as in apple. He made up the entire thing to try to throw the police off and to make him sound like he was more important and bigger than just a lone crazed gunman. Question number 20 of 20. Repeatedly, when interviewed by the FBI over the years in 1977 and in 2023, when asked if he was alone in the attacks, what did David say? Was it A, let's say I wasn't alone? B, it was just me, of course. C, no one else gets credit but me. Or D, Harvey was there. Your dad had a 1970 Galaxy? Well, thank you for the information, Sal and Kitiku, on what make and model it was. Like I said, I have a picture of the car in my head. I never got a definitive answer. But it was a 1970 Galaxy. I mean, if it was a Volkswagen Bug, we'd be like, hey, he killed people using a car like Ted Bundy. Who could team up with this trash bag, right? Oh, you never know. There have been quite a few killers who've had, partners in crime who've killed along with them. And when it comes to the FBI, they'll tell you that one of them is always subservient to the other. When it comes to, people who commit murders together, serial killers, one is always, subordinate to the other. Question number 20. Which one is it? What did David say when the FBI asked if he was alone? Speaking of Ted, I think BK wants to be like him. Brian Kohlberg. Yeah, Brian Kohlberg definitely said that he admired the work of Ted Bundy and what he did. The answer to question number 20 is A as in apple. He said, let's say I wasn't alone. What he was speaking about was that it was just him, but he said that evil was with him. Let's say I wasn't alone, meaning that evil was with him when he committed the crimes.
I'm really thankful for this opportunity to share a lot of things. Over the years, because the case, the so-called Son of Sam case, was very high profile and was reported around the world. And you know, so many people got involved in the thing. There's been so many misunderstandings and misinformation that have come down over the years. But I just want to tell my story in my own words, and this is David talking. I'm just talking now to share what's on my heart, what's on my mind, to bring clarity to certain things. I can't talk about everything. I don't want to talk about the crimes specifically. There's no reason to. That's all been discussed before. Anybody who wants to learn about them can go on the internet or whatever and watch whatever they watch or read whatever they read. But for me, this is my story. This is David talking. Again, 39 years in prison, and I'm sharing my heart now. And you can take or leave whatever I say. But I was born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York. And of course, I didn't know it at the time, but I was adopted. I was adopted at birth by a Jewish couple, Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz, who lived in the Bronx. And the Bronx is where I grew up. Even though I was born in Brooklyn, several days or a week after I was born, while I was in the hospital in Brooklyn, you know, my adoptive parents, of course, picked me up. This was all prearranged, and they took me to their home in the Bronx where I grew up. My birth parents, I later learned, I didn't find this out till many, many years later, actually when I was in my early 20s, that my birth parents, my mother's name was Rebecca Broder. She was from a religious Jewish family, living, you know, growing up in Brooklyn. And my dad's name was Joseph Kleinman. He was also a Jewish man and who had a family of his own. My birth mother this is before I was born. My birth mother had, at the advice of the family not to, she married a Gentile guy. Back then, in I guess the 1940s, and when this happened, and again this is before I was born, the rule of thumb was you married your own kind, and especially if you come from a conservative Jewish family. Her, I guess, parents were, you know, from Europe. They immigrated with so many others. They immigrated from Hungary to the United States. When she started dating an Italian guy, and it was a Gentile, the family was very upset. But she, you know, a headstrong woman. She married him anyway, and they opened up a fish store in what was then Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was Falco's Fish Market. And they ended up having a child who later I would learn would be my half-sister, Rosalind. Now, I wasn't even born yet, so this is well before my time, but I'm giving you the background. And anyway, within about a year or so after they married, and after Betty gave birth to my half-sister, Rosalind, this fellow, Tony, took off with another woman and was never seen or heard from since. The little store went out of business, and my mother was left to fend for herself. Some of the family stuck with her. Other family members rejected her because she had betrayed the family. She was the proverbial black sheep of the family, having married a Gentile guy and upset her parents and made her parents sick, and on and on. The typical story that happens all the time. You know, it's not something shocking, you know, but it's sad. Anyway, she tried to fend for herself. She had an apartment. She kept a small, modest apartment in Brooklyn, and she kept the name of her husband, Falco, because she was still legally married, even though by this time he had been gone for 10 years. Because he had abandoned her, she had to have income in some way, so she was living on welfare and trying to raise her daughter as best as she could. She was a loving mom, a sweet person, and there was a real struggle for her. Over time, she met a man by the name of, you know, Mr. Kleinman, who saw that she was single and living alone, and one thing led to another, and they ended up having like an affair. It's a common thing. And well, he had his own family, and this affair lasted more than 20 years actually. And the families actually knew about it. They eventually met. The wife met the mistress, and it was all very bizarre, kind of like a Peyton Place type drama, you know, a soap opera drama. But over time, over a number of years, as this relationship continued, Betty, my mom, she got pregnant.
Okay, I must preface it with the video you just watched with David Berkowitz in his own words. Yes, he does refer to himself, as the Finn pointed out in the comment section. He refers to himself in the third party a lot. And all of these videos that have been done, check-ins, different news organizations who have come in and talked with Berkowitz over the years from 1977 all the way up to 2023 is the last one where he actually sat down and talked with Dateline, of all people. He refuses to talk about the crimes that he actually committed. And if you watch this video again, if you're watching it in rewind, go back and watch his mannerism and watch his eyes. He constantly looks down and away, and then up. He's trying to remember the rehearsed, like script, I guess you could call it, or story. According to the members of the family, there's some pretty big holes when it comes to his version of, his mother having an affair with a married man for 20 years and her first husband, Mr. Falco, walking out on her, and he had been gone for 10 years. Yeah, he's kind of playing loosely with the facts there. His biological mother and biological father divorced. They were not, he didn't disappear for 10 years. He was still there in her life, and they still kind of worked next to each other. But the fish market thing closed a long time before. It was one of the things that separated that marriage in itself. But David doesn't go into that part because nobody wants to hear that. We want to hear how his life is like the movie and the show, The Peyton's Place, right? But anyways, did you know, congregation, please be seated and open your prayer guides to Book of Revelations, Psalm 69, 69, 69, 69, 69. David Berkowitz is now a minister to hundreds of fellow inmates. What you see here is one of the letters that while the son of Sam was out there, that he wrote to law enforcement. Jimmy Breslin, in particular, was one of his favorite people to write to. These are two more letters that he wrote in continuation to, and on the right, you will see the anagram that he drew up and closed all of his letters with. The cross, the Q, the S and the O. Yeah. The son, but I'm a monster. I'm the son of Sam. I'm a little brat. When Father Sam gets drunk, he gets mean. He beats his family sometimes. That's what the letter is about. Two more of his letters. Again, on the right, you will see how he closed out each and every one of his letters. JB, again, is to the police chief, Breslin. Please inform all the detectives working the case that I wish them the best of luck keeping them digging. Dive on, think positive, get your butts knocked on coffins, etc. I don't know what that means. Upon my capture, I promise to buy all you guys working on the case a new pair of shoes if I can get up the money. How did you do on tonight's trivia? Completely optional to give yourself a letter grade. Some people like to do it, some people don't. Of the 20 questions tonight, I only knew 13 of the 20 before putting this trivia night together. I would have gotten myself barely a B. Sneak peek to Monday's poll question. You don't have to answer the question now. You can ask additional questions about it. But the poll question for this week that'll be on the community tab is, should private companies like Getty Images control and profit from public news and radio broadcasts of events? A, yes. B, no. C, maybe, depends on the event. Or D, no opinion. Let's talk about why very few of your 36,000 subscribers tune in. But should private companies like Getty Images profit off of what was originally paid for by the public, and it was in the public domain and is now locked up behind a paywall? Of the well over 900 images that are, I found online of Berkowitz, David Berkowitz, about 410 of them are behind a paywall with Getty Images. You have to pay for a licensing in order to use them. They are not in the free domain. But they were all shot by, photographers with newspapers and stuff like that, news outlets. He reminds me of Oba Chandler, The Same Empty Eyes. Yeah. Kitty Q got 14. David was not a bright individual and still isn't. You can write to him if you want to. Anybody out there that wants to write him a letter, he'll probably write you back as long as you don't ask about his crimes. Oh. Did I put it on here? No, that's not it. Well, anyways, y'all might be wondering, who is next week's trivia about? I'm going to type it into the comment section. Who is next week's trivia about? Oops. Maybe write and ask why he won't talk about his crimes. But do you see the comment there? Next week's trivia is about Todd Colhep, however you pronounce it. I can hear the next storm rolling in. I can hear the thunder outside. I don't know if you can or not. Cole Heap is next week's trivia. Got the questions right here. Just finalized them this morning. I thought I made a thumbnail for it already, but apparently I didn't. But that is next week's trivia subject. I'm more and more aware of it. It's in the eyes. How much you can tell looking at the eyes, really? Yeah. Get a creepy feeling from people, and just look at their eyes and look at how they're carrying themselves to you. It is creepy. Well, I hope Reichardt got into the shower finally. Just remember, everything that you buy in this world is at one point or another is transported by a truck somewhere along the lines, either from manufacturing to the shipping port before it's put on a ship, or after the ship gets to the next port and is offloaded. It has to go by truck somehow. It's a thankless career that Reichardt has. All should be thankful that each and every one of them are out there. We can make their lives a lot easier if we just demanded that they get paid better and the people stay the hell out of their way. But unfortunately, you don't have to take an intelligence test in the United States to get a driver's license. I'm sure Reichardt would agree with that. I don't think I've heard of this guy. I'll find out while studying. I guess you'll find out while studying. I guess maybe I'll remember then. Do y'all hear that? It sounds like it's right over the top of my studio. The rumbling. It's been raining off and on all day today. Not a lot of rain. I mean, I live in a semi-desert, so when we do get rain, it's like, ooh, we got rain. Yeah, I know what you meant, Kitty Q. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up trivia night. I want to thank everyone again for being here. And on the way out, if you would hit that thumbs up, it helps just a tiny bit to tell YouTube that people, enjoyed the content. So they'll suggest it out to someone else to watch. But I appreciate each and every one of you being here again for trivia night. And again, if you're new here, if you're still sticking around, we do this every single Sunday night live here on YouTube at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 5 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, or 12 midnight in the UK. And thank you again to each and every one of you out there. I hope you all have a great week. And before I go, remember, as Purple always likes to point out, you never know who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. Bye.